Today, join us on a trip to Nantucket, Massachusetts, aboard the MV Eagle. Come with us on this 2.5-hour voyage to the summer island paradise. Last summer, Lindsay and I went to Massachusetts for a long weekend. The skies might have been a little gloomy, but we had an amazing weekend. We stayed in Plymouth, drove up Cape Cod, visited a shark museum, and ate lobster rolls while watching seals swim around fishing boats. We went to the beach, went shopping in Provincetown, and just relaxed and enjoyed ourselves. But the highlight of the weekend was undoubtedly the day we spent on Nantucket. Nantucket is an island 30 miles off the coast of Cape Cod, and today we're showing you how to get there by ferry. Our journey begins in Hyannis. Hyannis can be reached from Boston by the seasonal Cape Flyer train service, but in our case we had rented a car, which came with its own challenges. If you decide to take the ferry to Nantucket and you're coming by car, the website recommends you come an hour early to find parking. I recommend you come 2 hours early because we visited every single parking lot listed on the website, and either they were full, they were permit only, or they just didn't exist anymore. And yeah, give yourself some extra time. At least we're parking next to some cool old trains. Then a free shuttle bus picked us up and brought us to the harbor where we could buy tickets for the ferry. Getting tickets is the easy part. You walk to the ticket office, you just say you want 2 round trips, and it took like 15 seconds, and they're so friendly here. We are on the 9:15 morning departure. Boarding the ferry, I got yelled at by a dock worker for filming. They were loading cars, and apparently state secrets, onto the ship. A ticket for adults costs $20.50 one way or $41 round trip. Kids are half price, and there's no reservation required. You can also bring bicycles, surfboards, cars, motorcycles. All of these have different prices though, depending on the size and time of year. A car on a summer weekend will cost you $700 round trip, and you need an advance reservation. So it's best to consult the website. And if you're doing a day trip like ours, or even if you're staying on the island near the ferry, it may be worth asking yourself if you really need a car. Nantucket is walkable and it has a bus system, which we'll show you later. We are on the ferry now, should depart in about 10 minutes. There's tons of different seating options. We're sitting in just regular seats right now, but there's tables, there's a little cafe area. There's even a first aid area with a hospital bed, which is good because this crossing is going to take 2.5 hours. Anyway, we've made it to the main deck of the Eagle. There are elevators on board, and of course, toilets. Let's check them out. The urinals have a seashell on them for sophisticated target practice. The ship is covered in photos documenting the history of this voyage. I'll talk about that in a little bit, of course, but for now, I'll just say I wish trains had these. I know a ship like this is basically a floating building, so there's more space for it, but what if trains also had information posted on board about the history of the line you're on? That would be so cool. And with that being said, we are leaving Hyannis behind.
It was equipped with a marine evacuation system. In case of emergency, Coast Guard certified crew will be there to instruct you. Due to Mass State law, no smoking inside or outside and no vaping. Anybody traveling with children, please keep an eye on them. Do not let them roam freely throughout the vessel. There is no running on this vessel. Please do not run. Anybody with pets, have them on a leash or a carrier. No pets allowed on the seating or in the snack bar area.
With the mainland getting smaller and smaller, I decided to check out the cafe. I just got a snack for now. We'd gotten breakfast earlier. A pretzel and a donut. And you know what? Why eat this inside? We can go outside. Ferry service to Nantucket is provided by the Steamship Authority. During the summer months, there are 6 round trips between Hyannis and Nantucket, the earliest departing both ports at 6:30 a.m. and the latest at 8 p.m. In the winter months, this is reduced to 3 round trips a day. Besides the traditional ferry, there is also a high-speed ferry. It only takes passengers, no cars, and it costs $46.50 one way or $89 round trip. It takes an hour to travel between Hyannis and Nantucket on the high-speed ferry. Steamship Authority also sails between Woods Hole and Martha's Vineyard year-round. That journey only takes 45 minutes since Martha's Vineyard is closer to the mainland. Additionally, there's a seasonal service between Woods Hole and Oak Bluff, also on Martha's Vineyard. The ship we are on is called the Eagle. It was built in 1987 in Louisiana. The name Eagle pays tribute to the first ever commercial vessel that sailed to Nantucket. That original Eagle entered service in 1818, completing the trip between Nantucket and New Bedford in 8 hours. However, after only 3 months, it went bankrupt. A second steamboat to Nantucket was set up in 1824, and once again quickly failed. It led skeptics to celebrate, claiming that there would never be steam operation to Nantucket. Well, they were wrong. Starting in the 1830s, multiple private companies started ferrying passengers to and from the island. The railroads brought a big change in 1854. When the first trains began serving the port of Hyannis, the Nantucket Steamboat Company stopped going to New Bedford. Hyannis became the main access point to get to Nantucket. By the 1870s, ice-breaking ships had allowed for there to be winter trips to Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard as well. But the 20th century brought unique challenges to the steamship operations. For one, the United States Navy claimed several of the ships for World Wars I and II. And then lower ridership forced the several companies to consolidate and become one large company, the Massachusetts Steamship Company. They raised the fares, pissed off island residents, and almost went bankrupt themselves. So in 1948, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts created the Steamship Authority, a state agency responsible for operating ferry service to Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. The authority currently also regulates the other companies that sail to and from these islands, and as such, they don't allow any direct competition on the routes they operate. However, there are some companies that sail from Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard to other destinations. The Eagle, of course, is visibly not a steamship. It's diesel. The first diesel ship that the authority operated was called the Islander, which entered service in 1950.
Cape Cod has disappeared from view, but we caught our first glimpse of Nantucket. It's a beautiful day. We're sitting up on the upper deck. The waves are a little bit choppier, but it's nothing terrible.
By the way, if you want to see more of me taking ferries, I have a video on the Toronto Island ferries that I uploaded last year that you might really enjoy. It was a great experience for me, but the video could use some love, so go check it out. Nantucket is also known by its nickname, the Little Gray Lady of the Sea, because of how the island looks when it's foggy. Not that we'd know, because it was a gorgeous sunny day, the best weather we'd had while on this trip. Nantucket has a permanent population of about 14,000 people, but during the summertime, there are more than 80,000 people that live here. It has a reputation as a summer home for the very wealthy.
We've arrived in Nantucket.
Looking back at the island's history, the Wampanoag were the original inhabitants. The first European settlers arrived in 1659. Originally, it was part of New York before it was transferred to Massachusetts. In 1672, a whale strayed into the harbor and met an unfortunate end. And this was the start of the whaling industry on Nantucket, which for a long time defined the island. The history of whaling is documented at the Nantucket Whaling Museum. And my viewers who enjoy classic American literature will know that Nantucket plays a prominent role in the book Moby Dick.
We made it to Nantucket, dream destination.
Oh yeah.
What do you want to do?
I want to go shopping, I want to see all the cute houses, and I want to check out the beach.
So that's what we did. We found a thrift store that was surprisingly affordable. I bought a shirt for $1. And then we visited some antique stores and other stores that were more what we expected when it came to Nantucket prices. We got some coffee, got these grilled cheeses. Walked around the town. And then it was time to go to the beach. And to do that, we took the bus. See, Nantucket has a bus system. The Nantucket Regional Transit Authority has two services. You've got your Island Ride, which is paratransit, and then you've got the Wave, which is the regular scheduled bus service. The NRTA began bus service in 1995, but only since 2018 are there routes that run year-round. And this must have been the bumpiest ride on any bus I've ever been on, but it was fun, and we got to Jetty's Beach, probably the closest beach to where the ferry drops you off. It's definitely the most frequent bus route, running every half hour. And that's just kind of how we spent our day. Really taking it slow, enjoying each other's company, enjoying the beautiful island. When we had to get back on the ferry to go to Hyannis, we felt like we'd had a really, really good day. So we just wrapped up a long day in Nantucket. This has always kind of been a destination that you really wanted to visit. So what were your thoughts?
I love the shopping, obviously lots of fancy stores, but so many cool things to look at and dream about someday. That's why we need more subscribers so we can afford my budget. As well as just like the houses are beautiful and like the yards are so well taken care of with all the flowers and the greenery, but also there's so much fun stuff to look at and explore. And just nice to sit in a coffee shop and experience new city. So.
What do you think about taking the ferry to Nantucket? How's that experience been?
I love it. I love boats, so I'm excited. It's very relaxing, much better than driving.
That's good, because we have 2.5 hours left.
As it was around dinner time, I made another stop at the Onboard Cafe, this time getting a chili and a quahog chowder, which is how I found out that a quahog is a type of hard-shelled clam. And the sunset was a good excuse for us to once again go outside. As a reminder, a round trip on the traditional ferry between Hyannis and Nantucket costs $41, and on the fast ferry, it's $89. But my advice, take the traditional ferry.
Honestly, this has been one of the best days ever. I highly recommend taking the ferry to go visit Nantucket. Sorry it's not a train video today, but don't worry, there's plenty more of those coming. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.